You know what's absolutely wild? The WNBA might be facing a federal investigation that could change everything. And it's all because they couldn't protect their biggest star. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan, you need to hear this because what's happening right now behind closed doors could literally reshape the entire league. Hit that like button if you think Caitlin deserves better. And let's dive into this insane situation that's got everyone from Stephen A. Smith to Fox News talking. Picture this. A rookie comes into your league and immediately increases merchandise sales by 601%. Jersey sales jump 400%. Viewership skyrockets 170%. Your team's value literally triples. She's selling out arenas that were half empty for 20 years. She's bringing in millions of new fans who never watched women's basketball before. You'd protect that player like she's made of gold, right?
Wrong.
At least not if you're the WNBA. What's happening to Caitlin Clark isn't just unfair. According to a former White House staffer and multiple legal experts, it might actually be illegal. And Sophie Cunningham just exposed the whole thing. Here's where it gets absolutely crazy. Sean Lan, who used to work in the Trump White House, just dropped a bombshell in the Wall Street Journal. He's saying what Caitlin's going through isn't just rough basketball. It's a hostile work environment that violates federal civil rights laws. Think about that for a second. We're not talking about a few hard fouls anymore. We're talking about potential Title VII violations of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And before you think this is just some random guy making noise, Stephen A. Smith just backed him up.
You heard that right.
Stephen A. literally said on his show, and I quote, "They have a case." He compared it to Columbia University's $221 million settlement for civil rights violations. If the Trump administration can go after Ivy League schools for not protecting students, what do you think they'll do to a sports league that's letting their biggest star get targeted? The evidence is actually insane when you look at it. Caitlin absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls last season. That's double what any other player faced. She's been injured 3 times already this season, missing 14 games. And get this, viewership drops 55% when she's not playing. The league is literally losing money because they won't protect their cash cow. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin's teammate and now basically her bodyguard, just went nuclear on everyone. She straight up said the refs have been building this problem for years by not protecting the star player of the WNBA. And she would know because she played for Phoenix before joining Indiana. She admitted on her podcast that Phoenix had locker room talks about showing Caitlin what the W really is. Teams were literally planning how to rough her up. But here's the part that should make your blood boil. Commissioner Kathy Angelbert has been completely silent about this whole mess. Fox News just called her out nationally. They're saying if this was LeBron getting beat up in the NBA, Adam Silver would have already suspended half the league. But Angelbert radio silence. And you want to know why? This is where the conspiracy gets real. Remember how I mentioned that UConn connection in the original story? Well, some fans have noticed many UConn alumni in influential positions, leading to speculation about a so-called UConn mafia. Gino Auriemma's former players and associates are everywhere in positions of power. And they're not happy that an Iowa girl is getting all the attention their players never got. Paige Bueckers was supposed to be the next big thing, but Caitlin stole all her thunder. Think about this. Diana Taurasi, UConn legend, told Caitlin reality is coming before she even played a game. Sue Bird, another UConn great, has been weirdly quiet about defending Caitlin. Maya Moore, Breanna Stewart, all these UConn players who have major influence in the league. Where are they? Some believe they might be jealous that someone from Iowa is the face of women's basketball. A'ja Wilson literally admitted it's about race. She said it boils her blood when people say it's not about race because it is. At least she's being honest about what everyone else is dancing around. But here's the thing nobody wants to talk about. If the races were reversed, if white players were targeting the league's only black superstar like this, there would already be congressional hearings. The legal argument is actually pretty solid. Under Title VII, you don't need to prove intentional discrimination. You just need to show a pattern of disparate treatment. And boy, do they have a pattern. Rebecca Lobo, who ironically is also from UConn, but at least has some integrity, watched film of Caitlin getting fouled multiple times in a single possession with no calls. She said every single one of them is a foul. That's not bad officiating. That's systematic discrimination. Let me break down what could actually happen here. Congress could launch an investigation. The Department of Labor could review the WNBA's workplace safety protocols. The Justice Department's Civil Rights Division could file charges. And if they find call fouls properly, the disparity in treatment is documented and undeniable. When other stars get breathed on, it's a foul. When Caitlin gets cross-lined, play continues. When she gets poked in the eye, shoved to the ground, and targeted repeatedly in a single game, the most that happens is a regular foul call. This isn't about basketball anymore. This is about workplace discrimination. This is about civil rights. This is about an employer failing to provide a safe work environment for their most valuable employee. And if the WNBA doesn't fix this immediately, the federal government might do it for them. Imagine the headlines. WNBA under federal investigation for civil rights violations. Congress holds hearings on discrimination in women's sports. Justice Department files charges against WNBA leadership. This could destroy the league's reputation right when they're finally becoming profitable. The Trump administration has already shown they're willing to go after anyone for civil rights violations. They just got hundreds of millions from Ivy League schools. You think they won't go after a sports league that's discriminating against a white player? Especially when there's video evidence of every single incident. Sophie Cunningham is risking her own career to protect Caitlin. She's been fined multiple times. She's been ejected. She's putting a target on her own back, but she doesn't care because she knows what Caitlin means to the league. Without Caitlin, they go back to playing in empty arenas and losing money. The solution is simple. Protect your star player. Call fouls fairly. Suspend players who deliberately try to injure her. Fire refs who won't do their jobs. Implement transparency measures like last 2-minute reports. It's not rocket science. Every other professional sports league figured this out decades ago. But will they do it? Or will their jealousy and pettiness override their business sense? Will the Yukon Mafia continue to run things from the shadows? Will Commissioner Angel Burt finally speak up, or will she keep protecting the old guard at the expense of the league's future? Here's my prediction. If nothing changes, we could potentially see federal intervention. Whether it's a congressional hearing, a Department of Labor investigation, or a Justice Department probe, someone in the government is going to step in. The evidence is too overwhelming, the pattern too clear, and the stakes too high. Caitlin Clark didn't ask for this fight. She just wanted to play basketball, but she's become the symbol of everything wrong with the WNBA's culture. The old players resent her success. The league resents her popularity. The refs resent having to protect her, but the fans love her. And ultimately, the fans pay the bills. This story is far from over. Every game Caitlin plays could be the one where something terrible happens. Every foul could be the one that ends her career. Every moment of commissioner silence makes the situation worse. The clock is ticking and the WNBA better figure it out fast because if they don't protect Caitlin Clark, they might not have a league left to protect. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the federal government should investigate? Is this really about race or is it just jealousy? And most importantly, what do you think happens next? Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because when this story explodes, and it will explode, you'll want to be the first to know. Until next time, keep supporting Caitlin, keep calling out the haters, and keep demanding better from the WNBA. Discrimination. We're talking about massive fines, forced policy changes, and possibly even criminal charges for league officials who allowed this to continue. The craziest part, the WNBA just signed a new media deal worth $2 billion over 11 years. That's $200 million per year. You know why they got that deal? One name, Caitlin Clark. She literally made them $2 billion, and they're letting other players use her as a punching bag. Sophie Cunningham has had enough. She got ejected from a game for protecting Caitlin, and her social media following exploded from 400,000 to over 1.2 million on TikTok alone. She gained 800,000 Instagram followers in 3 days.
Why?
Because fans are desperate for anyone, to stand up for Caitlin. Sophie even revealed she's a black belt in Taekwondo. She earned it when she was 6 years old. She played football in high school and was the first female to ever score points for her team. This isn't just some random player talking tough. She's literally trained to fight, and she's putting the entire league on notice that if they won't protect Caitlyn, she will. The timing of all this is incredible. Donald Trump is president again. His administration has already shown they'll go after institutions for civil rights violations. Columbia and Harvard just had to pay millions in settlements. And now you've got a former Trump White House staffer calling for an investigation into the WNBA. Connect the dots, people. Stephen A. Smith warned the league directly. He said, WNBA, you've been forewarned. You got to address this. He's calling for them to immediately implement last 2-minute reports like the NBA has where they publicly review controversial calls. But honestly, that might be too little too late. The league's own players are starting to turn on each other. Marina Maberry shoved Caitlyn to the ground and only got a technical foul during the game. It was upgraded to a flagrant 2 after, but she wasn't even ejected. Meanwhile, Sophie gets tossed for standing up for her teammate. The double standard is so obvious, it's painful. Listen to what Sophie said about other teams. She literally admitted that when she was on Phoenix, they had specific game plans to rough up Caitlyn. Every team in the league was doing it. They want to show the rookie what the W is really about. But it's year 2 now, and they're still doing it. At what point does hazing become harassment? At what point does physical play become assault? If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right now because this story is developing fast and you don't want to miss what happens next. The financial implications are staggering. The Fever's value tripled to $100 million because of Caitlyn. League Pass subscriptions are up 366%. The WNBA app engagement increased 613%. Caitlyn's personal endorsements are worth over $11 million. She's literally keeping the league afloat financially, and they're letting her get brutalized. Here's something nobody's talking about. Caitlyn was left off the 2024 Olympic roster despite leading the league in assists as a rookie. The selection committee included league executives and former WNBA players. You know who makes those decisions? The same Yukon Mafia that's been trying to keep her down since day one. The Wall Street Journal article compared this to Jackie Robinson, but in reverse. Robinson broke the color barrier and faced discrimination, but at least the league eventually protected him. Caitlyn broke the popularity barrier, bringing mainstream attention to women's basketball, and the league is punishing her for it. Dick Vitale called it pure jealousy when Caitlyn got 29 million All-Star votes from fans, but ranked only 9th among guards in the player voting. The players literally voted against their meal ticket out of spite. That's not just petty, that's economically suicidal. Washington Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson even questioned why Caitlyn deserved to be Time magazine's Athlete of the Year. She's literally questioning the player who saved her investment. Without Caitlyn, the Mystics and every other WNBA team would still be losing money like they have for 28 years. The comparison to other sports is damning. When P came to American soccer in the 70s, they protected him. When David Beckham joined MLS, they celebrated him. But Caitlyn, she gets targeted, fouled, and injured while the commissioner stays silent. Fox News just entered the chat. And when Fox News starts covering WNBA drama, you know it's serious. They're reaching millions of viewers who are now learning about this situation. The pressure is building from all sides. Social media, mainstream media, former government officials, ESPN personalities, everyone is calling out the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham put it best. She said, if you don't think Caitlyn is the face of the league, you're literally dumb as F. She's not wrong. The numbers don't lie. Every metric from viewership to merchandise to ticket sales to social media engagement, everything revolves around Caitlyn Clark. But here's the scariest part. Caitlyn is one flagrant foul away from a career-ending injury. She's already missed significant time with a quad strain, 2 different groin injuries, and who knows what else they're not telling us. Every game she plays, she's risking her career because the refs won't.